And we're live. We're back.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, welcome.
How? We got some music on this time.
Still stream?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's just quickly swap.
Oh yeah. Oh, let me post it in a few places first.
Oh yeah, sure.
We got 4 people. Welcome.
Welcome, guys. In this stream, we'll be going on talking about some Cardano and Ethereum news, some Ethereum 2.0, going through the CME futures. We'll talk about some Polkadot. We'll go through the technical analysis of the graphs and see where we end up. We'll be answering some questions. Anything you guys might have in your mind, we'll go through. And yeah, we'll just wait for the live stream to just kick off a bit and then...
Hey, James is back. James, can you hear us over the music?
Can you open my one as well?
Should have it on screen.
Just because I want to see what it's doing. Oh, I'm gonna have to answer questions for both. I didn't figure that
3,000
out.
viewers on yours.
Oh yeah, mine will be going live in a minute actually. So just leave it like that.
Oh, yeah, someone's waiting for it.
Just mute your... The music sounds good.
Can you hear us over it?
Yeah.
You can?
Just quickly mute it real quick. And go. Sorry guys, just doing some final setup, just bear with us. If you have any questions, just leave them in the chat and we'll circle around to them in just a couple of minutes. Ethereum and Bitcoin both doing well. They're higher than what I was expecting for the rest of the week, so I'm glad that we're kind of taking back some value across both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Quickly go to my one.
All good music. It's maybe a little bit too loud. Thanks for that, James. We should be live.
I'll just give it a minute. It's alright. Let's just go from yours for now. Oh, sorry, we doing that?
I was just gonna post it in a few more places.
James, how's your portfolio looking at the moment?
Cool. What's happening with Elrond? Cool. We'll get to it in just a second. Thanks for joining us, Domin Likozar. Welcome.
So, you can just quickly answer. I'll just quickly sort this out.
All right, cool. So today, guys, we said we'd be back for the stream, and we are. We'll be covering a few things. We're going to start off just covering all the different cryptos in general, looking at the big movers and losers of the past day. And then we're going to cover... Sorry, guys, we're just getting this stream going on Grant's channel as well, so we're streaming on both channels. A few topics we're going to cover in today's stream. We're going to look at the CME futures. They are launching in the next 12 hours over in the US. We'll be looking at the effect that that's going to be having on the Ethereum price. We'll be doing a bit of TA on the price action. We'll be looking at the Ethereum 2.0 staking contract, supply leaving exchanges, and just covering the general price actions and what it's likely to do from here. Following that, we're going to move on to Ethereum versus Cardano. A lot of super interesting Cardanos blasted into the third spot on cryptos. There's a lot of hype around it, a huge move around it, and we were getting a lot of questions yesterday about what the differences are, the positives and negatives for them. So we'll be covering that, what we think about it and what we think about the recent price action. Following that, we'll then go into Cardano versus Polkadot, and then we are just going to be covering various Bitcoin news and if Elon is good or bad for crypto.
I'd also like to quickly go over what's happening with Miami at the moment and the recent interview with the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, and go through what kind of impact that will have for Miami in the future and, potentially a lot of the US cities over the next few years to come. So yeah, we'll cover some Polkadot alongside Cardano and Ethereum while we're at it, because I think it's probably good to look at as they both had massive bull runs recently. And yeah.
Audio's all right?
No, one's bad. Just gonna stop my stream.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, our round is going nuts. Welcome everyone in chat. We're just launching off. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so yesterday we talked a lot about Ethereum and the CME futures launching over in the US. What we expected to happen is it was going to be a spanner in the works. So it was sort of a debate over which way it was going to go, whether it's going to be negative or positive. So to catch the people up that weren't too sure, it launched. So CME futures launching today. It's only the second crypto asset for it to launch, the only other one being Bitcoin, and it launched back in 2017 in December. So it pretty much signaled the top of the Bitcoin bull cycle, and is pretty much like you can look back of when it launched, and it literally signaled the exact top of Bitcoin. And it's sort of what the catalyst was for the 3-year bear cycle that sort of took place. So looking at it just from that point of view, it's a negative. What is CME futures? It's derivatives trading. It's just traders being able to bet and investors being able to bet on the future price of an asset. So yeah, it was always going to be a spanner in the works. We expected, people were asking us how low we thought it was going to go. We made it.
We kind of thought it would pull back down to this kind of Fibonacci retracement. You see, it's kind of pulled back perfectly to that point of 50% of its rise, and now it's kind of starting to rise back up to this top again here. It's really ambiguous to say whether it's going to reach that price discovery again, or if it's going to trail up, make it, and then make a downtrend from here. As you can see, we've got 3 touches here. It could keep going up and try double test that high point there and keep going, but we're still yet to say.
Yeah, just looking at it, I think the people that were in the negative camp for the CME futures launching would be a little bit disappointed if this is what the it all amounts to, this smallish dip. We said it looks like at worst case scenario it'll pull back to 1450. You can see 3 touches here where it's pushed against this resistance, and this resistance is going to act as support now. So it didn't even get down close to it, and I don't think it's going to test that again. So in my opinion, very bullish for the near term. CME futures, I think it's all been overblown a bit. The fact that with all the FUD, all the fear, the doubt, and uncertainty sort of surrounding it launching, I think it was overblown, to be honest. So yeah, bullish from here, in my opinion. I think we keep going back up.
Should we bring up any articles on that, or that sounds pretty good to me?
Yeah, so the bull case behind Ethereum, bull case behind Ethereum. The futures have already launched. Look, people are D-Day for Ether futures. A lot of people, I think, Michael Van de Poppe came out and said, personally, I'm not entering the markets at all here. Look, this is pretty much what people were debating whether it's going to be a positive, whether it's going to be a negative. It was just going to be a spanner in the works. Now that we're past that event, and it pretty much turned out to be a non-event, I think we can sort of move on. Now, there are actual positives for the CME futures coming out. It does show a broader financial acceptance of the asset. It opens up the potential potential buying for institutions, and it just gives that validity to the asset like Bitcoin. So it's not all negatives. It's not all sort of volatility. The only sort of thing I'd keep in mind with it is that all of the derivatives and contracts done on it, so the call options and put options, they're all cashed. They're all finalized in cash, so you don't actually have to hold the underlying asset. So it's not like if people are shorting Ethereum that they're going to have to be bidding up the price and chasing it up. There'll be no short squeeze on Ethereum. There's going to be none of that. It's all cash settled. So keep that in mind. You don't have to buy the underlying asset, which a lot of people are coming out of the woodwork and saying that's a negative, and I would have to agree, to be honest. Going into the bull case for Ethereum, moving past the CME futures, we touched on it yesterday a bit, but this is why I would be extremely bullish on Ethereum. So we are seeing Ethereum move out of exchanges at an alarming rate. Generally what we see with huge run-ups, especially to all-time highs, like what Ethereum has done, is we see an influx of supply move onto exchanges. So 451.3 million in ETH from top exchanges. Ethereum balance on platforms hit major lows. So what we are seeing is Ethereum getting sucked out of exchanges, and as buyers want to buy, they have to be chasing the price up because there's a supply crisis going on with Ethereum. So this is only bullish. We're past the CME event. We're past the CME futures. It turned out to be a non-event, but this supply crisis is still going on. What's compounding this is the Ethereum 2.0 staking contract. So out from Glassnode, Ethereum 2.0 deposit contract now holds more than $5 billion worth of Ethereum. So around about 3 million in Ethereum is staked up in this contract. For those that don't know, the 2.0, to become a node, you need to stake a certain amount of Ethereum. I think it's 32 off the top of my head. And this is held for a minimum of 18 months. So super bullish. It removes supply again, simple supply and demand. There's a huge supply crisis going on. We're seeing supply get sucked off exchanges, put into cold storage, and this is only compounded by the 2.0 deposit contract. This is about 15% of the supply of Ethereum in circulation being held up in 18-month contracts. So I'm super bullish on the Ethereum near-term outlook. The CME futures really turned out to be a non-event. I wouldn't worry about it, and I'd feel a lot more comfortable in taking a longer position on Ethereum from here. So yeah, bullish in the short term. Would you
Nice.
agree?
Yes, I would definitely agree. How about we talk a bit about Cardano and what it's been doing at the moment? I'll quickly pull up the charts of Cardano. I reckon we first look at Cardano versus USD just to see what kind of gains it's made.
Cardano has exploded over the last 48 hours.
There's three. I want to look at Cardano versus USDT, Cardano versus Bitcoin, and then Cardano versus Ethereum.
Yeah, okay.
I think that'll all be really interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is absolutely bullish. Cardano's taken a lot of value out of a lot of the other market caps and put it into its own, and then rised up to the third crypto. So now it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, not discluding Tether, and then we got Cardano now. Not much to say there. It's just so bullish. I can't believe how much has risen in the past week or so. Let's look.
I think we're up 80% for the week. Keep in mind that we saw a huge rise in Cardano back in 2017. We saw it make it to $1.30, around about there. So we're not in price discovery. Keep that in mind. But I think everyone can agree that the whole market was a bit overcooked back in 2017. So interesting to see what it does from here.
Let's look at the longer picture let's go to the 1 day and just see how much value we've gotten from. Yeah, around mid-2020, we saw a massive value spike in Cardano versus Ethereum. It looks like it's really in waves. We saw it here, we saw it here. We're definitely most likely entering into another wave. If it goes back up to this point again, I wouldn't be surprised. And if we take value and then we start to lose again, while Ethereum starts to take back value of its own, this could potentially be only the start of Ethereum. Of Cardano in this bull run. So yeah, what do you make of this graph? Look at this. This is just happening in waves. Look at these spikes. It happens almost very cyclical.
This is
it always peaks out. Yeah. Besides this part where it got released, but other than that, you can see just in waves, all peaking out at this point. Yeah, it's very. I would not be surprised if we saw it peak out at this point again. I think this is a graph that everyone's really looking at, considering how they're both trying to race to be the #1 smart contract platform. So
I mean, yeah, Cardano's known as the Ethereum killer. That's insane. Just based on these charts, this looks like it's based and is it's going to continue high. It looks like the continuation is there. Very interesting.
I think this is because a lot of people like to put money in Cardano against Ethereum just as a hedge against it. And so if they've got money in Ethereum and Cardano, it's kind of investing in the whole smart contract platform as a whole. But people are most likely moving their money between the two projects. That's why we see this massive cyclical nature of value, of wealth distribution between the two projects. And then when Cardano starts to rise, we will most likely see a lot of money come out of Ethereum and go into Cardano, and then vice versa once it starts to cap out and we see another bull run in Ethereum.
All the funds will transfer back.
Yeah, that's what I believe. That's what I believe is happening just by looking at this graph. It seems to always cap out at a certain point. So yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we reach this point again and see maybe Ethereum start to maybe decline a little bit, or reach the consolidation point for a little bit, and Cardano still runs while our alt season is still going.
Kicks off, yeah, continues on.
Yeah. We've seen a bit of stability in a lot of the alts over the past few days, but this could just be the middle of it. It could be the end. It could still even be the beginning. So we'll just have to wait and see. Let's see. What else can we look at? I'd like to look at Cardano against Bitcoin, just to see it as its own project, just how it's doing against the digital gold.
And this is a point we were making yesterday. If you're holding altcoins and it's not performing against Bitcoin, you need to reevaluate why you're holding these altcoins. So it's a good chart to look at. I feel like a lot of, especially the newer traders, sort of disregard their various altcoin against the Bitcoin price, but it's a very important chart to look at if you're not looking at its price action against Bitcoin, yeah, you might need to reevaluate, because if it's going down, you might as well just be holding Bitcoin.
You know, it's quite hard to make sense of these giant peaks here in relation to the recent months and weeks, but by looking at this, you know, this kind of wealth transfer goes up in waves. We're seeing a more kind of validity in these cycles around here. I think that's more just because money flowing in and out of alts as Bitcoin's becoming more popular over the past few months. That's what I take from that, and we'll see a lot more kind of both of them as volatile, a lot more validity in both of these assets.
Yeah.
Hard to say how long Cardano will take these reins from. A better thing to look at in comparing something like Cardano to Bitcoin would be the total market cap of Bitcoin against the total crypto market cap. So taking the percentage of Bitcoin compared to Bitcoin plus all the other alts market cap and seeing how that graph kind of compares. So it's a good way to compare how when alt season's coming and when it's going. So yeah, as opposed to looking at this, you should also look at that kind of global perspective across the entire crypto market.
And I think we saw it peak out at about 72% dominance, and it's dipping back into the mid-60s now.
That sounds about right, yeah.
And it looks like, just based off that chart from memory, it looks like that trend is going to continue. So altcoin season getting into full swing, taking some dominance off of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So yeah, bullish price action on Cardano, I'd say.
Kind of some reasons why to buy Cardano against Ethereum. You really have to kind of compare their projects and what they plan, what they strive to kind of solve. That's you know, the whole point of a lot of these small cryptos is what they're solving in comparison to what some of the bigger names aren't solving yet, and how they're doing it. You know, the process they're tackling to do it. Cardano is an awesome project, and looking at it on paper, it's done some amazing stuff. You know, it's got a lot of peer-reviewed articles. It's got a lot of people who know what they're doing in the space and are you know, analyzing its all of its technical details and what it is as a project, and kind of comparing that to other projects in the space and seeing that it's taking a similar route as Ethereum, but using different methods to go in that direction.
Yeah, let's really jump into, just because we were getting a lot of questions on the last stream about it, and I feel like there's a lot more interest in the space with Cardano. The recent run has gone on over the last week. Sort of the main differences between Cardano and Ethereum.
Well, first, they're both smart contract platforms, so they're both allowing people to come onto their platforms and create their own projects using smart contracts, essentially.
Yes, what I'd first point out to people, and this is sort of the main argument for Cardano against Ethereum, is that people call Ethereum a second generation cryptocurrency. Bitcoin was the first one. Ethereum improved upon that with smart contracts, and then you'd call Cardano a third generation cryptocurrency. So it's gone back, seen all the weak points where it can be improved, and then with the code and the foundation that it's built on, has improved in a lot of the major areas there. Do you want to walk us through some of the positives of the Cardano network against Ethereum?
Yep, definitely. So yeah, as Jamie said, Bitcoin first generation, Ethereum second generation, Cardano third generation, all, you know, progressively in generations striving to solve issues that the prior generation had with their platform and projects. You know, the Ethereum when it comes out, Ethereum 2.0 comes out, that would be considered a third generation project as well, because it's still solving the issues that it had that Cardano has now solved. But Ethereum definitely has that has the advantage of everyone already knowing what it is. A lot of projects already been you know, produced on their platform, and they've all got big names and have some sort of adoption to a certain extent. So it's not like Cardano will ever kill Ethereum and, you know, smear it into the ground in the short term. I don't think that will ever happen. That's really what Ethereum's got going for it compared to Cardano. But, you know, Cardano solved the issues of it being scalable. It's been peer reviewed and scrutinized against, by professionals who know what they're doing, whereas Ethereum was just made by Vitalik in his basement and maybe a small team of people who knew what he was doing, but he was really the first person in the space to be doing something like that. So it's kind of hard to get any peer review on his project when he was doing it. So pretty much just his ideas and his abilities is what the project was limited to, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. He's done some incredible work with it, but Cardano has got more people on board, and it's gotten, if more minds on one project means, better problem solving and a better outcome.
Yeah, so to sort of sum up the bull case for Cardano, I would narrow it down to these things. The Cardano, it's newer. It has a bigger team behind it. The research and peer-reviewed nature of the way they add to the foundation of the code, it is much more rigorously reviewed and scrutinized before it's added, and it's done by researchers and academics all across the globe. So the way that this network has been built, that is not going to face a lot of the problems that Ethereum did. Ethereum was groundbreaking when it was done, but because it was so new and what it was trying to do, there are a lot of problems with scalability. So when a lot of people adopt it, a good example of that is gas fees increasing and transactions being slow. So Cardano is much more innately scalable. We won't go too depth into it, but I think let's just talk a bit about the way
the stuff you should know.
Yeah, the stuff you should know. I think the data layering of the contracts is easy to explain. Do you want to walk through that?
Yeah, sure. So the way Ethereum's smart kind of transaction is handled is that in every in every transaction of Ethereum, this transaction will involve the transaction details in itself. So who's sending and who's receiving and how much, and all the kind of metadata, like the date of when it's transferred, the type of token it is, because as you know, Ethereum has all these different ERC20 tokens saved on it, and other kind of information that you might want to save in the transaction, which means that in every single transaction you'll have to send all this information, which can be, add up to quite a substantial amount if there's a lot of people transferring on the network at one time. That's why gas fees and time can be so high when there's so many people, and there were so many people coming in. So that's why Ethereum's had some issues with scalability and pretty much just in scalability in that department. What Cardano have done to say that there's many different alternatives. There's terms like sharding, which solves scalability, which is what Zilliqa does. But the way Cardano's done it is that they've kind of separated the metadata, which is what I said earlier was the time of transaction, the type of token. They separated that data from the actual transaction data, which means that in each transaction there'll be a lot less information being transferred, which means it's quicker, it's cheaper, and yeah.
So to sort of sum up, all the way the Ethereum transactions are done, all of that metadata and the data surrounding the contracts or whatever parameters are included in that, it all has to be lumped together and sent as one big thing. Whereas Cardano has a layering system where it can be separated, the transaction and the data can be separate, which pretty much solves the issue of scalability. So you can have a lot more users without running into the same problems as high gas fees, transactions taking a long time, that sort of thing. So that's what we would argue is sort of the bull case towards Cardano, and I think you'll see a lot of people online. It's why it's called the Ethereum killer, and it's sort of the new and improved Ethereum. So that's sort of the bull case behind Cardano and sort of it in a nutshell. The only thing I would finish off with, sort of the bull case for Ethereum, is that you can't discount the power of the network and the first mover advantage that Ethereum has, and I also wouldn't discount all of the intellectual capital that's coming into the space. So just reading off some numbers here, the market cap of Ethereum is sitting at around 190 billion, whereas Cardano's is at 20.5. So Ethereum has about an 18 times market cap of Cardano, and you can't underestimate the power of being the first mover, the power of adoption, and the network value that Ethereum has. So there's already so many users. It's already been beta tested so heavily with all these different projects being built on the Ethereum network, which Cardano, just because it's not the same size, hasn't had that similar. Doesn't have that same sort of network, and it wasn't one of the first movers. So that's sort of the bull case I'd make for Ethereum. And I wouldn't also discount all of these projects being built on it. With Ethereum 2.0, they are solving a lot of problems. They're going to continue to innovate. So I definitely wouldn't count it out. I'm bullish on both of the projects. So yeah, Cardano, a better version of Ethereum, but you can't discount these big things that Ethereum has going for it. That's what I'd say.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. Let's see what else we got. So,
we wanted to cover a bit. That's Ethereum versus Cardano. We were going to touch on a bit of then Cardano versus Polkadot would be a.
I'd like to quickly.
Would be a good follow up.
Just very lightly brush over Cardano and Polkadot. I'd say Polkadot is a lot more complicated, and its kind of vision is Cardano Ethereum's vision is to really take that complication out of new projects when they're trying to start up and kind of implement smart contracts into their transaction system. With Polkadot allows people to build entire blockchains and allow them to communicate to each other a bit more freely than kind of Cardano and Ethereum allows with other blockchains. I think I'm very bullish on Polkadot, almost as bullish as I am on Cardano and Ethereum, purely because, like I said, with it allows blockchains to communicate with each other. They're really the biggest in the space who are solving that issue of interoperability, which is what we see with Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano. They're not perfect, and it's definitely a bigger issue than scalability is, and we're much further from solving that issue than we are to solve scalability. Interoperability is a much bigger issue than scalability is, and we're much further away from solving that than we are from solving scalability. But Polkadot are probably the furthest in the space. They probably made the most progress in the space and really taken the biggest step forward than any other project. So, yeah, I think that's a big reason why you should be looking at Polkadot for the near future and potentially in the long term. I think we'll see Cardano and Ethereum start to adopt code and processes that Polkadot have already made. Just the only issue is that they've had some setbacks in the past with kind of inadequate knowledge on how to set up their project, and I think they've lost a lot of money because of people finding these shortcomings and whatnot.
And speaking of, we are just seeing a huge run-up in Polkadot. As we're speaking in the last hour, we're seeing about a 12% move upwards. So, yeah, honestly, I'm bullish on all these projects. I think we're going to see bigger increases. I have a hunch that we're going to see bigger increases in Ethereum, in Cardano, and Polkadot, not only against the dollar, but against Bitcoin as well. I think we're going to see big returns. Bitcoin maximalists are going to get left behind.
The way I see this market cap is Cardano and Ethereum and Bitcoin. I see Bitcoin as being the safest investment and kind of the S&P, kind of like the market, it is most of the market of cryptos, but then we see Cardano and Ethereum as very big, strong investments that are very predictable in their outcomes. But I see Polkadot as a little bit more unpredictable with more risk to return ratio, because we can see some amazing projects come out of Polkadot. With allowing people to make and develop their own blockchains, the potential is potentially limitless. So I'm really excited to see where Polkadot heads in the future compared to Cardano and Ethereum.
Yeah, I really like that analogy actually of calling Bitcoin just the S&P 500, sort of the ETF of the entire market that goes up, but holding these smaller projects like Ethereum, like Cardano, and like Polkadot is holding individual stocks. So maybe they're your Amazons, your Apples, and your Teslas. I think you're going to see bigger returns holding picking out the singular ones. And I don't think you can really go wrong, especially in the midst and early in this whole altcoin bull cycle. I don't think you can go wrong with anything in the top 10. to be honest.
Yep.
And we're just seeing a bit of a move in the Bitcoin price at the moment. Nearly looks like it might
nearly
challenge
40K.
back against the 40K.
This is a really important time, so this is a good time to be streaming.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see if we crack across 40K over the next hour or so.
Looking at the graphs, we see a lot more resistance at the 42, 41 mark.
Yeah.
But we got that mental barrier of reaching the 40K, which has always been a big conversation when it comes to Bitcoin running up. Is it going to go past 20? Is it going to go past 30? Is it going to go past 40? So I'm really excited to see. We'll have a lot of. I'm sure there's a lot of stop limit or limit sells at 40K. So
yeah, and it's interesting. Last night we were making the point of we didn't want to see a double top, and I've seen people argue that we already kind of have seen it. It didn't get up to the 42. Yeah.
From last time we saw 42, and this is the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's sort of not what we want to see.
Yeah.
It could be good for if it just consolidates in this sort of channel in the 30K. It'll be good for the altcoins, but I think everyone wants to see Bitcoin blast through that.
I think if we did retest at this point here and run back up and we retested there, it'd be a different story. But the fact that we did kind of see a bit of consolidation and a bit of movement, a bit of volatility up until the point that we are now, a lot more people buying in and a lot more Bitcoin moving around, and now we're moving back up. I think that's a very bullish sentiment that we can just see here by looking at the candles.
Welcome everyone to the live stream. If you want to just put in chat if you want us to look at any specific cryptos,
or if you have any questions on everything we said, or if you want me to reiterate anything,
let us know your portfolio allocations and let us know what you're holding.
We can have a conversation. We've got Jamie Tree here, and we got Crypto Shizo here.
ShizoCrypto. You'll see his link in description. We both make crypto related content.
I was supposed to be streaming this as well, but the
audio wasn't great on the second stream. I just want to, that sort of leads us well into a bit of Bitcoin price predictions. So one of my favorite ones is the stock to flow model, just based off its accuracy.
A lot of people say this is the most accurate estimate in for like macro scale estimates around. So developed by Plan B. This is an awesome model to look at.
Yeah, and it like just looking historically, it gives good sort of buy signals and good buying opportunities, good sell signals, when it's ran too hard, and good buying opportunities when it sort of strays from this line. So yeah, for a lot of people that are new to cryptocurrency, I'd definitely keep an eye on this model. And what it's predicting is quite a fast run up. So it's based off the halvings of Bitcoin. It's expecting a run up, and it predicts a $100,000 Bitcoin this year. So I mean, look how accurately it's tracked it sort of end of last year and then this year. Based off that, what can we expect over the next month? Sort of a move into the 40Ks. So, which is actually a bit of consolidation. We'd probably see a bit of altcoins, altcoins
flowing capital through.
Yeah.
We'll definitely see that happen a few times before that run up to 100K of capital just flowing from Bitcoin to altcoins back to Bitcoin. I'm sure you can find the graph of Bitcoin to total market cap. That's another really important one to look at. I'm sure. I think we should actually look at that. I think there's one on TradingView. I think it's called Total Liquidity Index or something like that. But you can't really search from that. I'll look it up on this computer.
Would be Bitcoin dominance chart.
Yeah. Let me try. Yeah, if anyone knows what it would be called with the Bitcoin to total market cap, what that graph would be called. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. What's this? Oh no, that's not it. That's definitely not it. Yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, if you guys have any questions in chat, leave them in now. We'd love to go through any questions you guys might have on the top of your head. See if we learn something together, and then we can discuss. Right now, I'll just pull up the Bitcoin chart. I'm probably more bullish on Bitcoin in the short term than I am on Ethereum. I think we've seen a lot of capital flow from Bitcoin to Ethereum over the past couple. Let's actually look at the Bitcoin to Ethereum charts.
Yeah, and it looks like we're overdue for sort of a reversal of that. That capital inflows.
Yeah, we are still due for Ethereum to catch up to Bitcoin in the mid to short term, but we'll definitely see an exchange of wealth, happening momentarily on the way up. What am I looking for? Go here. I'll have to go Ethereum, Bitcoin. If you guys are looking at cryptos and are looking at buying any altcoins or Bitcoin or Ethereum, you should always compare your altcoins or any of your cryptos, even Ethereum, to Bitcoin, and just see how it's doing against the big dog in the scene. Because if you're investing in these tiny coins and they're not seeing any value increase against Bitcoin, then at the end of the day, what's really the point of investing in it? Because if you're bullish on the entire crypto scene as a whole, your money should be flowing into Bitcoin if that's what's moving the most, and then maybe you can flow some out when you think your project might take back some value here and there. But yeah, if it's long term not performing well against Bitcoin, I can't really see any reason for you to have your money in that project.
Definitely, yeah. So an important chart to look at, whatever is your coin you're holding, Ethereum, against a Bitcoin chart, because at the end of the day, if it's not performing against Bitcoin, why are you holding this other coin?
Let's look at the 30-day moving average and just see how we're moving against that in Bitcoin. Honestly, I could see us, if we do come down from this green candle, I could see us testing this 30-day EMA. We've got some strong resistance at this point here of these closing and opening points here, forming some nice support alongside the 30-day EMA, which is a very important indicator to look at. And if it does reach this point and kind of touch this support, this line here, I'll quickly put it up. Maybe is this one I can put down? Yeah, that's fine. That works. Kind of this support level here. If we see we'll see the moving average kind of move up, and if we see it meet the price of Bitcoin alongside the moving average and this support line here, then I think we'll almost certainly see it bounce up. I think there's a high chance of us moving up off that 30-day moving average. Then
good day to go long.
As you can see here, back here, like we saw this descending wedge that kind of ended on the moving average, and from there we saw a decrease, fall down, and then we kind of blasted back up it. We saw some support from it here. We move up alongside it, we come back down, and then if we do retest it, I think we just keep moving up from there. It's acted as its support and resistance multiple times in the past. I can see it as being a very strong point of support in the future as well. So
yeah, an important chart to look at 100%. Yeah, this is interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Bitcoin takes another run at 40k and if it can crack through this.
What do you think will happen when we hit that 40k and if we move back up to 42?
And if we move back up to 42?
It's really hard to say at this point. It's really, really hard to say. It's always just moving into price discovery where we're going to be headed.
Yeah,
long term, I think we'll definitely blast through. I'm not sure if we'll see some consolidation between 40 and 42, which is something we haven't seen. We haven't really been sitting in that 40k region for a while. We've only kind of touched it, then fallen back down over a few days, and then kind of come back, and now we're going to touch it again.
I think stock to flow is your best. It's
definitely
anyone's guess, but I think, by March, we should definitely, by the beginning of March, we should definitely see at least a significant move into the mid 40Ks. So yeah. Cool.
We've got 6 people in here. Any of you guys have any questions or statements you want to make? We'd be more than happy to interact with you guys. It makes it a lot more fun. Just maybe even let us know your portfolio allocations and we can discuss that. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe we can, give our take on that.
Yeah, we might wrap it up there.
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
I think we could definitely wrap it up there.
Yeah, interesting to see what happens with the Ethereum price, with the Bitcoin price over the next sort of 24 hours. CME futures to look out for. Seeing some big moves across the top 10s.
Should we talk about Miami or?
Oh yeah, if you're good to talk about Miami.
We can quickly talk about what happened with Mayor Francis Suarez over the past few days in an interview, which I think has definitely flown under the radar in terms of a lot of the big news in cryptos. He had an interview with one of the big crypto podcasts on Spotify. I believe it was Thinking Crypto. Have you listened to that one yet? It's really good. I think I gave Jamie a rundown on it the other day, but essentially they kind of ask him some interesting questions on putting crypto on their treasury, making it another form of currency. I'll quickly pull up an article actually. I'll just see so you can read while I'm talking. Miami crypto. Let's see. I'm sure it could be in here. You know, he's kind of talks about putting it on the treasury, making crypto. Yep, there we go. That's awesome. These 3 points here.
I mean, he's been incredibly bullish for, like, in terms of politicians who don't expect to be bullish towards cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
You've been seeing him speaking. I think the Winklevoss twins have been speaking a lot to him.
Yeah, they've been in the talks. Yeah, some interesting points I got from that interview was, as you can see here, the news that will make big headlines is Miami is considering giving city employees the opportunity to get their salaries paid in Bitcoin. The amount that Francis Suarez has been pushing this idea, I think it will almost certainly happen, and I don't think there's much more barriers left for him that are set in place that will stop him from doing this and putting it onto their treasury as well. Because if it's on their treasury, if you can pay your taxes and if you can get paid in it, and a lot of businesses are accepting and paying in cryptos, you can definitely consider it as a second form of native currency. Definitely. Another big thing that he said in the podcast was that he is actually going to buy. He doesn't own any crypto of his own, and neither does the city yet. And I found was very surprising because we're still in an early stage. We're kind of in price discovery in Bitcoin, and it's relatively, from the past few years, Bitcoin's at a very high premium. So the fact that Miami and himself is looking to buy cryptos, in the near future, they're not looking just to buy it and increase their wealth for short term just to hedge against it. They're looking to implement it and gain some adoption in crypto, which is extremely long-term bullish on crypto. That is quite possibly the most important thing crypto could gain on its run up to 220k to these highest predictions that a lot of these analysts have given it. This is the most important news you can see. So yeah, with him buying some personal crypto as well as the city of Miami buying it in their treasury at a very premium price, I think that will definitely encourage people to not just look at it as a FOMO investment and think that's too late and then just buy in and then watching it every day to sell. They're looking at it as a second form of their wealth. So they're not looking to swap that between their USD. They're looking at as a second language, as something they need to get by in everyday life, which is extremely bullish on cryptos in general.
Yeah, definitely.
They're also looking to he's looking to do a public statement with potentially Gemini and the Winklevoss twins, which would be, I think that's a very important key date to look out for, and I'm sure he'll announce it on his socials. He hasn't really announced a specific date yet. He said he's definitely going to be doing something public, so that's something that we all need to be looking out for.
Yeah,
I think that's super bullish on it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't know a lot about that. I've seen him come out and speak about cryptos, and
he's always said but he's never really put any this is what we're going to do. He's always been, I really like crypto and I really like what they're doing.
Hasn't done any concrete, said any dates or anything.
And being, the mayor, he's always very careful in what he says.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be really careful. I think it's a good point that Bitcoin's at such a high price, and when the mayor is looking at adding it to the state's balance sheet, they're not going to be trading it. Like, this is going to be a long-term hold for them.
And they still haven't even bought it on their treasury.
So it's getting more and more.
So they still think it's not even at a premium price. They still think it's at an affordable price that and have a good outlook for it. So I think that's really interesting.
Very interesting, yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, there's so much good news flowing into the space, so much short-term momentum behind a lot of these cryptos, Bitcoin included. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be in it. and to be watching everything and just covering it. So
Yeah. All right. We just got maybe 5 more viewers just after my spiel about Miami. Any questions? Why is DOT booming in the last hour? I have no idea.
Yeah.
DOT is an awesome project. I think it's going to move on its own here and there.
Polkadot, I think, I'm not 100% sure if something specific has come up about it, but I think it's just following up the trend of Cardano.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, I think it's taking some, being kind of also a platform for cryptos. I think it's kind of taking some value off Cardano and off Ethereum and off Bitcoin. And I think that's the only reason why it's booming in the last hour. I think a lot of the other top 10s will boom as soon as one of them booms.
Yeah, so all the Ethereum killers, we were talking a bit about them before, Cardano, Polkadot, all these sort of alternatives to Ethereum. I think Polkadot's just playing catch up.
Polkadot going to USD 25? I really hope so.
Polkadot USD 25.
Bought yesterday after it not gaining after Cardano. It's gaining now.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, that's good logic to use, because you could have done a similar sort of thing when Polkadot ran. Polkadot ran first when it rushed up into the top 10. Did it reach top 5 at one point?
It reached third.
So yeah, it could have done the.
That was when
same
XRP's
move.
massive
got ripped down, and then.
Yeah, but now the Cardano's third. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to trade.
Nice.
If one of these Ethereum alternatives runs and another one hasn't, it's not a bad idea to put some capital in one of these alternatives.
Definitely.
So yeah,
I think there will be a lot of. I think
trade.
there is a lot of cash kind of flowing between Cardano, Polkadot, and Ethereum, and Bitcoin's always in the mix in every one of these spreads. But I think there will be a lot of cash flowing between these projects that all kind of offer a platform for people to develop their projects, especially at their scale and size as well.
Yeah, Raymondas and Polkadot going to $25. Maybe not on this run up. I mean,
it definitely could.
Who knows? It could. I think medium term, 100% we're going to see $25. But in the short term, who knows?
I think we definitely could see it. I won't be taking a position on it at the moment, right this second. But I don't think it's out of the question.
Yeah. Let's see. So it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and Polkadot.
So Polkadot's fourth. If we don't include Tether, you don't really include Tether just because it's a stable coin. But
you know what? I think with this run up that we're seeing right now, I think it takes third spot, and I think it's going to then run a little more as soon as it takes the third spot.
Oh, it's very close.
Yeah,
super close.
It's very close. Cardano versus Polkadot. It's a race.
I'm very bullish on both Cardano and Polkadot. I like what we've said this earlier in the live stream. I personally think Cardano and Ethereum are very predictable and are solving an issue. You know, they've taken a lot more progress in solving their respective issues, but I think Polkadot's a bit more of a mixed bag, and they've taken a big step forward in an issue that's very hard to solve, which is interoperability. So, Polkadot is a little bit more risky, and they have had a little bit more issues in the past with fundamentals than Cardano and Ethereum has. But I still like the project, and I still really like what they're doing and the issue they're trying to solve. So I think it's a very important issue that they're solving, and without them, who knows who would be up top.
Let's just because we have a few more viewers in chat now, let's go back to what we were talking about, Cardano versus Polkadot. So we were making the case between Cardano and Ethereum earlier. In a nutshell, Cardano does everything that Ethereum doesn't do well. So it scales better, it's more efficient. The gas fees that Ethereum has and the transactions cost is sort of what Cardano solves. And
Polkadot 30, maybe. Yep, keep going.
Polkadot 30. So maybe just speak on the differences between Cardano and Polkadot, just because you know Polkadot a bit better than I do.
We can do that. So Cardano smart contract platform, as Jamie said, looks to solve kind of the issues that Ethereum has had since the beginning, which Ethereum is trying to roll out in Ethereum 2.0. They're trying to solve scalability through separating their information in the transactions. You can look at that. You can do some research on that and see how they're trying to solve. There's a lot of information out there. Hey, Arnas. Okay, Ananas, sorry.
Nice.
Whereas Polkadot isn't quite looking to do the same thing as Ethereum and Cardano with smart contracts. They're looking to solve the issue of interoperability between people who are making these incredible projects on that platform that aren't limited to smart contracts, and allowing them to communicate to each other, which I think holds a lot more potential than Cardano and Ethereum, but a lot less predictable. So that's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining that. I think, yeah, a lot of people are sort of interested with the recent Cardano run-up. The differences between Ethereum and Cardano, both built on smart contracts, and then the differences, again, of Polkadot. And sort of an interesting trade idea that I'd sort of pitch to everyone, all the viewers in chat right now, because Grant knows it quite well, is... Who do we have? We had Mitchell Walker saying he bought Polkadot after the Cardano run yesterday. Something similar we see happen every time Polkadot runs is Kusama run.
Kusama, yeah, Kusama follows Polkadot quite lovingly, I guess.
So
it's always kind of it's seen incredible gains, and I think it's already 125. That's an all-time high that it's made today, as of midday today. I haven't actually seen it run up to 25 as of recently. That's awesome to see. I'm very bullish on Kusama project. They're kind of the testing ground for Polkadot, so we're going to see a lot of projects come through Kusama and then to Polkadot. So like I said, it's a bit more of a risky investment, but I am very, very, very confident that we're going to see some amazing projects come through Kusama and Polkadot before we see amazing projects come through Cardano, and not quite Ethereum just due to its size. But if we're comparing just Polkadot and Cardano, I think we're going to see Polkadot see massive, awesome projects come to it, but first come through Kusama, if that makes sense. Because this is kind of the testing ground for Polkadot before projects get released on their mainnet through Polkadot.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're interested in some short-term trading, these smaller market cap coins such as Kusama would be an interesting trade idea.
Yeah, they follow the big cap names. So
they follow the big cap names and sometimes move a bit more, just because with the smaller caps they just have more percentages to run. So yeah, an interesting trade idea.
I can quickly show you guys Kusama's movement compared to Polkadot, or we can answer these questions. Should I show them Kusama versus Polkadot, or should we answer these? Maybe choose this.
I remember TYAC13 from a previous stream when we were talking about GameStop.
Oh, I remember TYAC13.
yeah. Well, welcome back to the stream. Thanks for coming through again. TYAC, are you guys bullish on GameStop today? I don't know if you remember when we were talking about it the first time, but I said it was almost toxic, the sort of sentiment that was going on in the Wall Street Bets chat. You were seeing like students and people living in their cars and homeless people saying things like, I've lost $100,000. If I can diamond hands this, you can as well. And it was just this awful group mob mentality that was sort of going on. So I don't know. I've seen the sentiment completely change from GameStop. I never ended up FOMOing into it, thankfully. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm bullish on GameStop, but who knows? I don't. The short hasn't been squeezed yet. I think it could run hard still.
So the builder said main advantage compared to Poker Ada is that it's easier for devs to move. What do you think about that? So easier to move where? Off the blockchain, easier to move from development to kind of mainnet stage, or
yeah, I think
what do you mean by that?
I think he's referring to how difficult it is with the Ethereum, the gas prices, and the difficulty in transacting it.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
From ETH to XDAI. Oh, wait, what? From ETH to XDAI.
Oh, he's talking about, yeah, okay. He's talking about XDAI compared to Poker and ADA. Gotcha.
Okay. Let's look at XDAI real quick.
Yeah, I haven't heard of XDAI. Let's pull it up. Pull it up on screen.
I might just pull it up here as well.
Yeah, all the viewers in chat, let us know what your portfolio allocations are at the moment. From ETH, XDAI, ETH. Yeah, okay. rank 163. A lot of people are asking about these really deep, these smaller cap coins.
It's another kind of interoperability solving project. Well, if it could potentially be better to do a better job than Polkadot in terms of interoperability, but it's so hard to say with it being so low down on the market cap, because even if it is doing a better job, it still doesn't have the funds behind it and sort of the name behind it to bring it to a different level and bring some big names in the future. So honestly, I don't know much about this project at all.
Yeah, I don't know much either, but if what you're saying is true, that it's easy for Ethereum devs to move from Ethereum to XDAI, that could be huge for it, because this is the biggest bull case on Ethereum. There's so many projects already built on it. People underestimate the network effect. People say it's overstated, but it's not. Being the first mover advantage and just the value of the adoption that Ethereum has already seen. Everyone knows it. Intellectual capital is going to continue to move into it. So if Ethereum is going to get dethroned, it's going to be important that devs can move it off the Ethereum network. So it'll be, it's an important factor. So honestly, and the chart looks really constructive. So I mean, a lot of the crypto charts at the moment look really constructive, but yeah,
Perpetual
it looks good.
protocol, which reached 1 bill volume. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Interesting.
The builder, I'd like to know what's your kind of portfolio allocation and percentage wise of what are you holding at the moment? As I was saying before, here's the Kusama versus Polkadot. This graph's a bit weird. If you compare them side by side from the start, you can kind of see where the wealth's moving, and they're kind of moving in synchronized. I am extremely bullish on Kusama, so whenever I kind of see Polkadot moving around, I always double check my Kusama as well. I think it actually is at an all-time high right now.
So we're going price discovery on Kusama?
I think so.
Now
I'm almost certain. No, we have to be.
Yeah, I think 100% we would be. So, and Polkadot is reaching all-time high?
100% 10 times leveraged into poker. Are you now 10 times leveraged into poker?
I mean, I'm jealous. I wish I was 100% 10 times leveraged into poker right now.
I think that's the first we've seen that.
I mean,
awesome. I really hope you see some life-changing gains of that. I really do. That'd be so awesome to see.
Oh man, at least you're not 100 times leveraged. That's interesting.
What do you think about Raven? I've actually held Raven in the past. I don't know much about the project in itself.
The builder, are you sweating these red candles coming up when you're 10 times leveraged? That's what I want to know.
How much are you secreting right now?
Yeah, are you sweating?
Should we pull up Raven real quick?
Yeah, let's pull up Raven. Grant knows quite a lot about Raven, so
I don't know much about Raven. I've just held it in the past.
Grant does not know much about Raven.
Wait, you're talking about Why does it look like that?
Diamond hand. Gotta respect that. I respect that.
You say diamond hands. Do you want to watch a bit of the Polkadot candles on live stream? I'm sure he's probably got it up on another monitor. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I'm definitely not. I don't see the vision of its project in the top 100. I think if it's sitting below the top 50, it's kind of hard to predict where it's going to head. That's why I don't really touch a lot of these projects that aren't. I don't even touch a lot of the top 50. I kind of mess around with the top 20, and then if I really like a project that's below that mark, kind of like Kusama, I will mess around with it. But even if the project has kind of an awesome outlook and is solving some issues in an incredible way, I won't really give it much thought or look at it. There are exceptions, like let's say Chamath or something jumped on the board of this brand new coin. I would definitely be looking at something like that if it's got an awesome team who know exactly what they're doing. But it's not uncommon to see a lot of these smaller projects who develop something that claims to do something, and then they do an ICO, they get a lot of this money, they sell their portion, and then You don't see any blog posts, you don't see any
completely
updates from them.
smoke bomb it. So let's not
Yeah.
forget what happened in 2017 when
A
all
lot
of
of
these
scams.
ICOs came out of the woodworks, promising the world, promising to solve every issue that all the big cryptos were facing, and then completely smoke bombed. So let's not forget the past. Anything in the top 50, I think you're pretty safe, but as soon as you start moving out of the top 50, just be careful. I'm not saying that anything is bad. I just
That's awesome.
trade
And
from a degree of safety. So
also got SRK. Nice. That's so good. Like that's absolutely awesome. You know, I wouldn't. I've never actually heard of this coin. This coin is in the top. Is number 430.
SRK got it 21.
That's
Not bad. Not bad.
Look at those gains though. That's
Yeah.
insane. Nice work, man.
Making some very nice gains.
I'm sure you made some huge gains on that one.
I mean, just from the builder, I want to do maybe when we hit like 5K subs, we'll do like 100 times leverage into Bitcoin stream.
Registered corporation in the Philippines under the SEC launched on 5th of October. Adoption of blockchain through an ecosystem of practical product services. Okay.
Initial funding of 50 grand. That's not a lot of.
Yeah.
That is minimal capital to say the least.
Wow. We run a small business over here, and we could have started a crypto project. Chamath is always. I don't think it's that. I think he just doesn't see a use case in a lot of the coins. He has said
Mitchell Walker,
very scuffed. He has said that he doesn't know what DeFi is and that he doesn't even like Ethereum. I think he also stated in an interview that there has to be a real need for the project, and that projects shouldn't be built on the blockchain just for the point of building a project on the blockchain. He says that if there's inherent need for it, then it should definitely be built on the blockchain. But if there's not, he doesn't see the point. And quite honestly, I 100% agree with that, right?
Yeah.
So he only wants to use a blockchain if there's inherent need for it. But if there isn't, then
I would I want to make another video on Chamath because I'm a big fan of his investing style, but I do think he's missed the mark on cryptocurrency in general. So he's a huge advocate for Bitcoin, but anything out of that, he's not interested in it. You're 100% right. The only thing I would say is that, so the argument he uses is that because Bitcoin was the first, and it's clearly the category winner, as he calls it, it's going to continue to win, and it's going to continue to win at a faster pace than all these other things. So, I mean, from a stock market example, when something like that happens with, say, cell phones, as soon as Apple became the category winner, everything else died off. Nokia, BlackBerry, they all died off, and all the games went to Apple. If you held Apple, you would have done incredibly well. And he's making the same argument for Bitcoin. However, where I think he misses the mark is that Bitcoin and Ethereum are two completely different things. Ethereum is a network, whereas what I would call Bitcoin is a store of value at this point. So, thanks for bringing up Chamath, but I think he's missed a mark on Ethereum.
he has been
and altcoins in general. So
he has publicly been in talks with Zilliqa, which is something I found very, very, very interesting. And I'm very bullish on Zilliqa, considering it's, as I said earlier, I'm not really interested in the top 100 coins, but that's around the 50 mark, and he has been in talks with them. I made a video on that if you want to go check that out on my channel in the description. I probably don't need to run through that in here, but can't see Bitcoin being a long-term solution. No, not. It depends what you're trying to solve. It's a solution in terms of a hedge against fiat currencies, but being a solution to transactions and finance and any other projects that blockchain will be used for, it's definitely not a solution.
Yeah,
it is definitely a solution, just not to a lot of solutions.
I mean, it has a lot of problems, and it's not going to. I mean, you can't release a Bitcoin like. It's not going to be an Ethereum 2.0. The devs can't get back in there and then fix the shortfalls with it. But I wouldn't say that you can discount it. It's become a store of
wealth.
Store of wealth at this point.
If you compare it to gold as well, it is amazing. So it has solved that issue.
Yeah.
But can't see Bitcoin. Any other questions, guys? That was an awesome discussion. See if there's any Cardano pumping. Let's pull up Cardano real quick on TradingView. See what we're looking at in the short term.
I believe he's referring to the past week, which yes, Cardano has been pumping hard.
Okay.
It's sort of cooled off over the last 24 hours, and over the last hour, we've seen Polkadot just absolutely pump. So
who was 10 times leveraged on Polkadot?
that was the builder who was 10 times leveraged on Polkadot. So
The builder. How did this drop?
did you get liquidated off that drop?
I see great value in Tron. The trends we always see. Yep, we always see that about Tron. Nah. Yes.
Nice.
Let's
Very
go.
nice.
I hope it keeps moving up. Let's go.
I think it does keep moving up.
Got in at 21.5. Okay. What's it at now? 22. Okay.
21.5, 10 times leverage. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, oh man.
This is
we
insane.
were talking on yesterday's stream about holding a 1 to 3%.
Liquidation 18, 19. Okay. I was going to say,
Gotcha.
you must have been pretty close. Let's quickly run downstairs.
Yeah, we're talking a bit about yesterday about holding 1 to 3% of your portfolio in Dogecoin. Yes, it's a meme. Yes, it's a joke. But as an Elon Musk hedge, because he will just not quit in pumping it. I don't know if you guys saw the TMZ interview yesterday when he was caught out on the streets, but it honestly seems like he believes that Dogecoin, like, he's a little bit more serious than you would think. About Dogecoin. Here's a quote from him. Occasionally I make jokes about Dogecoin, but they're really meant to be jokes. If you watch this interview that TMZ caught him with outside, just on the streets, he was saying things like the weirdest outcome is usually the most likely outcome and things like that, and saying that Dogecoin may be the future currency of the world. And I don't think he was memeing. He was a bit serious about it. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one to watch as well. Alrighty.
Oh, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Maybe let's give it a minute. I just want to see any more questions come through. The first thing you need to look at with Ripple is all the SEC issues before you can start looking at it.
Yeah, thoughts on Ripple. We're going to do a video in the near future just covering the... I don't know how long you've been in the game, but if you've been following the SEC proceedings, they're getting sued. And I think that's all been overblown. So I think we might see a return to favor with Ripple. A lot of people in the crypto space like to really dog on it. But I think it's been overblown what's going on with the SEC, and we're going to see a return to favor in the near future. We'll go into depth in a video over probably in the next week, just clarifying it.
Literally only in the past, I'd say, month or 3 weeks as well. One of the guys that hopped on the board of the SEC is actually very pro crypto, and I'm sure he's kind of swung some opinions into that department. And XRP was willing to fight that case with their entire being. So I don't know. I think it was a bit. It definitely could have been a bit overblown. I've seen a lot of people who are super bullish on XRP still and being massive believers. Is staking worth it with ADA and DOT? What does that sound? That's completely up to you. It really depends on your view on the project and how and where you think it's going to be in the future. I think staking ADA would be a bit safer than staking Polkadot. I just think Polkadot is still solving an issue that has a lot of problems with it, and kind of keeping your value in that sort of a project that's in that department is a little bit riskier. But yeah, at the end of the day, stakings are really a personal preference thing, I think.
Yeah, my opinion on staking is it really depends on the who you're staking it with. A lot of them, if you have to lock up whatever you're staking, maybe not, especially if you're trading it, which it sounds like a lot of people in chat are doing.
Yeah.
Because with staking, the highest rewards that you're going to see for staking are going to be when you have to lock it up and won't be able to touch it for a while. So yeah, it really depends on who you're staking it with. if it's the type of staking, there are some that you can freely exchange. Why not? You're getting free rewards for staking it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final question before we head off? Any final questions or
yeah, let's take a
or anything?
a quick look at just. This ain't looking good.
I think he's fine. He's still got down to 19 or 18.
No, I reckon still bullish. Even if we get a few more red candles.
We've seen project run up even harder than this.
Yeah, much harder.
So I think good listen. No worries, Mitchell.
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of staking, especially if you're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's tons of. BlockFi is a really good one. It's backed by the Winklevoss twins, the Gemini
Cashed out.
exchange.
The dip's low again.
Got it
Nice.
again. Nice trade, very nice trade.
I hope you continue to make massive gains. That'd be awesome.
I think what for like a 3K subscriber special, let's do like a live trade, 100 times leverage.
Yeah, okay. Actually, yeah, let's
It'll be
do
funny.
it. Yeah.
It'll just be funny.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys. Awesome, everyone. Thanks for coming out to the stream. We normally stream. We try and stream every day. We'll be streaming a lot more throughout the week. Grant's channel's in the description. If you're not subscribed to me, this is my channel. Consider subscribing if you want some up-to-date cryptocurrency news, videos, and live streams. It's been fun hanging out with everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Hopefully we see Ethereum, Polkadot, and Cardano keep running. And
I'd love to see Chainlink, Zilliqa, and Kusama all run
hopefully
up
everything.
as well.
And the king of all cryptos, Bitcoin. Hopefully it keeps leading the way.
I'd say Bitcoin's the key player to look out for over the next kind of literally overnight or the next couple of days. So
and some bullish price action just across everything. So it'll be interesting to see over the next 48 hours.
Alrighty, thanks
Awesome.
guys.
Thanks everyone for coming out for another stream. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Thanks,
awesome.
Pramod.
Appreciate that, Pramod. We'll catch you next time.